Well, good morning, traders, and start of a new week. Certainly got a nice platform by which to progress. Wall Street had a nice gain of about 70-80 basis points or so, and all sectors were higher on the day. We saw really nice gains coming through in mining. Energy did really well, up 1.2%. The industrial space looks pretty good, and we saw some buying coming through in financials, despite the yield curve continuing to stay relatively flat around 95 basis points. That's something that we're going to be watching throughout the week, and whether or not we can see this renewed push in the S&P back up to those all-time highs, and perhaps through those all-time highs. We did see some good performance from small caps as well, which has given us some belief in this rally that we've been seeing. And the other thing that we've been talking about is the emerging market trade. We've liked to look at that through the EEM, the emerging market ETF. I think that's been a really good proxy. That had a bit of a pullback recently because of all the controversies and political angst that's coming through in Brazil and the contribution that Brazil makes into emerging markets. But on Friday, that had a really strong session, up 2.1%, one of the best gains we've seen for a while in that index or in that ETF. So we're watching for if we can push back through the sort of 41.50 highs on EEM. That would be a trade that would be worth jumping on board, in my opinion. I think we'll probably see up to 44 bucks if we did see that. It was trending really well, certainly not to the same degree as what we're seeing in Bitcoin, which is back above 2,000 at the moment. That's been a trade that everyone's been jumping on board. Stay long there. Don't be trying to pick tops on Bitcoin. It's doing some crazy stuff at the moment. It just seems to be going up and up and up. Just trail your stop below the 5-day moving average. If you see price close firmly below that, then I'd be jumping out. But for now, just trail your stop up and jump on board. Enjoy the ride that's going on in Bitcoin at the moment. But certainly, we've got a firmer open expected. The SPY futures did close up 26 points on Friday. We are seeing risk open up a little bit stronger this morning. The weekend news hasn't really given us anything concrete. We saw another missile test from the North Koreans, but that hasn't really sent any kind of reverberations around market. Dollar yen did dip below 111, but has pushed back again. I think if you look at euro dollar, it's opened fairly flat. US futures, S&P futures have opened on a slightly firmer footing. Very, very modestly firmer footing. And I think the asset that we've really focused on at the moment is in the commodity markets, where we've got oil prices trading above $50 again, honing in onto $51 on our continuous contract. That's obviously very much in focus with Thursday's OPEC meeting ahead. I expect to see perhaps a slight bit more upside in the oil price as we go into that meeting. But then we've got to watch out for any signs of kind of this burn the rumour, sell the fact playing out on oil. Will we see the OPEC nations living up to expectations? We firmly expect them to come out with an agreement on the extensions, but is that enough? Is that enough to justify the rally we've been seeing in oil? So definitely keep an eye on US crude. Definitely keep an eye on some of the oil proxies, such as the Canadian dollar, Santos Oil Search, these kind of names, just to get a sense of what equity traders are talking about. And I think you can't go past politics at the moment. Donald Trump continues to be very much in the limelight. We've now been given confirmation that he will be, or James Comey will be testifying to the Senate Intelligence Committee, but it won't happen until after Memorial Day, which will be the week after, and that's definitely something that everyone's going to be focused on. So after last week's massive, sizable loss on the ASX 200, down 1.9%, we are expecting a firmer day, and obviously bulk commodities have had a really strong day on Friday as well. So I quite like the look of Rio, quite like the look of Fortescue Metals. We're expecting a really strong day there as well today.